barbecue place on the scene in Tucson, which what better place to start a barbecue place here in the UNESCO City of Gastronomy, but Mark's Blue Smoke Barbecue. And this is Mark. How you doing?
Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
Great. Thank you for having me here today.
Outstanding. And we do have an oldie but goodie, Sean Smiley of ERC Junction. Thanks for dropping by.
Absolutely.
You're just in the neighborhood, right? And you're you smelled the barbecue, so you came by to see us.
I can't wait to taste it. It's going to be awesome.
Outstanding. So, Mark, what is Mark's Blue Smoke Barbecue?
It's just kind of my rendition of doing barbecue. There's all kinds of great places all across the country, and I just wanted to do something that was true to me and local to Arizona.
Fair enough. So how did you get in? Were you a really good smoker, backyard smoker?
I've been cooking since I was about 8 years old.
Okay.
And so I learned from my great-grandmother, grandmother, aunts, uncles, mom and dad, and we were always smoking, always cooking outside, family and friends. And I've just been playing with it through the years, and I've done some pretty nice events off-road, out all within the state, and just decided it's time for me to do it now for me.
Got it.
Share it with the community.
I can't wait to try that, and that's during Tasty Bites. Now, you got to stay through to the third segment of the show where we actually get to try some of this amazing food. And like I said, hop on YouTube at the Tasty Show 520, and don't forget to subscribe. Now, where are you located?
So I'm located at Delavina Ranch, which is the old Pantano Stables right off of South Houghton Road.
And Irvington, right?
And Irvington, just south of Irvington.
Just down in that, if you know Tucson at all, it's right before that big hill, right?
Correct. If you're going north, it's right before that big hill, right in the wash.
Yep. And I bet everybody that lives in that neighborhood right across from you is like, they probably hate you because, I mean, all of that when the wind blows just right has to just sweep over the top of all those houses.
It's funny that you said that because I have people honking their horns as they're driving by and waving. It's the funniest thing, coolest thing ever. It's just some food with some smoke and people get excited. So,
no, that's wonderful. So, tell us a little bit about what you barbecue.
So I like to do a little bit of everything with the barbecue. I'm doing beef brisket. I'm doing dino ribs, which are those beautiful big plate ribs. We've got some beautiful chicken thighs and legs, and then some pulled pork. So I like to do a little bit of everything with that.
Dino ribs. Tell me about the dino ribs.
So the dino ribs are these big 4-plate ribs that I get sliced up. They're from Vera Earl. Beef in Sonoyta, and they're just gorgeous. I didn't bring one of those or the chicken today because that's limited supply. You guys will have to come out tomorrow and try some.
Oh,
absolutely.
Really?
Yep, absolutely. So the chicken and thighs I get from Top Knot Farm, out of Benson, and then I get my pork from E&R Pork here in Tucson.
That sounds delicious. So everything's locally sourced.
Absolutely correct.
And I'm cheating a little bit here by telling everybody, but that VE Premium Beef is some of the best beef, and that's Vera Earl Premium Beef. And you can go to vepremiumbeef.com. They're one of our sponsors, and I'm really excited to have you here because their brisket, hands down, is some of the best brisket. In fact, I just came from a different barbecue smoke-off. It was a competition, and I got to try some of theirs. I'm really excited to have some more of yours because I had some of yours at Off the Vine. That happened, 2 weeks ago now, right?
Yes. I'm at Delavina Ranch, absolutely. They've got some great beef. I've been out to their ranch. I've met Ian, and Sonora has been wonderful to deal with. And then I've also been out to these different farms and ranches, and they're all just good people.
Yes, they are. No, Sonora is absolutely incredible, and the way that they take care of the cattle and everything else. I mean, their environmental husbandry is incredible.
Pretty amazing.
Because they're running. Sean, you went out to the ranch with us.
Yeah, well, I remember seeing those dino ribs. I'm going to have to come try some of those.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Remember got to see them in the freezer?
It's like steak on a stick.
Oh, my gosh.
Mine are fresh. They cut stuff specs for me, which is really kind of cool. And the same thing with Michael at Top Knot Farms and E&R Pork. I mean, it's just amazing because he's got heritage hogs, and there's nothing better than that. Wait till you try some of the pulled pork.
What's a heritage hog?
A heritage hog is a purebred hog. So it's like a Berkshire or a red gerbil. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry. That's
No worries.
awful, you guys. But
Okay.
they're 100% purebred.
Okay.
Okay.
And this particular one, those are Berkshire hogs. They're just delicious,
Okay.
beautiful, lots of marbling.
Super looking forward to that. That's
Yes.
got to be really good. And again, that's going to be in the third segment. So, what
You gonna
questions?
make me wait that long?
Oh yes, you got to wait that long. You got to keep coming back.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
And again, if anybody has any questions about any of this, you got to call 520-790-2040.
So how long have you had the restaurant location there? It was what, South Houghton, and where did you
So
say the crossroads?
just a couple of weeks ago was my first little inauguration of getting it done there. And so tomorrow's actually going to be our semi-grand opening. So
Oh
to
wow!
speak.
Congratulations.
So thank you. It's a food of love thing.
Yes. No, that's awesome.
So did you have a food truck before that, or this is like just a brand new launch?
No, actually, I had a trailer before, and I leased that, and then I sold
Mhm.
it, and the barbecue's really hitting home. So I had a different smoker. I'm having one built for me now, and the gentleman that's building it is pretty amazing, Alex from Desert Pit Smokers,
Okay.
and I'm not trying to plug everybody. I just appreciate everybody the
Yeah.
way that
Go for
they've
it.
helped me. I hope that was okay
Yeah.
to say that. And I'm actually working, when I'm done, I'm hopefully going to have a phone conversation with a gentleman that's going to build me a trailer, and I should be ready in a couple weeks. So,
That's really cool.
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And what were you doing before you launched this restaurant?
Well, I've been an executive chef and food guy for a long time. So,
Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah.
Where at? Anything local, or can you not talk about it?
I'd rather
Fair enough.
not, that's all. But there's
No worries.
there's some really good places here in town that I've done, and some up in Phoenix. I mean,
Okay.
I've been very fortunate and blessed. I'm a graduate from Scottsdale Culinary Institute, their Le Cordon Bleu program. I
Yep.
was asked to go back and be an instructor, and I've worked in 5 stars and just down home mom and dad stuff, and a little of everything in between. So I've been blessed in my career.
Fair enough. So, I mean, how long have you been a chef then? I mean, you've been in the kitchen for a long time.
Long time. Well, I'll show you the gray hair. 30-some years close.
All right.
How's that?
That's that's a fair amount of time. And then, so you retired from the kitchen and decided to go open a pit.
Correct.
So, what is the difference between a pit boss, or not a pit boss, a pit master, and a
Pit guy.
barbecue master?
You're getting ready for Vegas.
Yes.
So yeah,
a little bit.
Pit boss belongs in the casino, and
Yeah. Never mind.
that's all right. I don't think I'm a master of anything, but pit masters are the guys that handle the pits, just like an executive chef in a kitchen. The pit master's in charge of the pit and all that other good stuff. So I'm just basically a guy that loves to smoke. That's why on my card it says pit guy.
Okay.
I'm just a regular guy. I love talking with people and meeting people and sharing food.
No, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And what's the best? Okay, so now that I know you're a chef, I mean,
Oh, no, don't go there. See, I don't want to ever tell people that they don't want to go out and eat with you. They don't want to cook for you. Okay.
No, that's who I hang out with all constantly. We're the Tucson Tasty Show. It's literally
Cool.
the reason that we're here and we're talking to you. But
Awesome.
your amazing barbecue kind of stands for itself, and
Thank
that's
you so
why
much.
we invited you out. But as a chef, I mean, is this your favorite style of cooking?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, so it's good, down to earth barbecue, yummy.
Yes.
All right.
Wood,
Well,
fire, smoke, it's what makes great food.
it does make good food.
So is your location a standalone, or are you on a strip mall, or how?
So what's really cool is that it's a beautiful piece of property, Medilla Vina Ranch. They've done an amazing job there. So they're on 40 acres. They do horses and they do events and weddings and so forth. And they've got like a little side place right outside of there. It's a little gated spot right outside of where their store is. And in that area is where I'm located at. So once I
okay.
get my trailer, it'll be all kind of connected together, and then I could be there more than a couple of days a week. So that's kind of what the prime time is, Thursday through Sunday, and I'm gonna just start off with the Sunday till I get all the rest of my stuff the right
so
way.
what hours will you be there?
So I'm looking at being there when tomorrow the show they start at 8, but I'm not going to start cooking or be ready till around 10. So my normal
okay.
hours would be to like 10:30 to 4:30, 3 o'clock, depending on how soon the food runs out. And, you know, I hate that. People go, oh, why wouldn't you just make more? And I go, it's not as easy as, you know, just calling up your vendor and having it, because there's special cuts, and then smoke takes 2 or 3 days to get it right. So
Beautiful.
yep.
Well, we're gonna go into a break here, and thank you for being here. Looking forward to having you back after the break. So stay tuned. I'm Wesley Source, host of the Tucson Tasty Show. We'll be back with more Mark's Blue Smoke Barbecue. Special thanks to our sponsors: Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Beer Oil Premium Beef, Dirty Cactus Soap, Novus Vita, and Mafia Kitchen. Stay tasty, Tucson. Oh, welcome back to the Tucson Tasty Show. I'm your host, Wesley Source, and we're here live in studio at our new time, 3 to 4 every Saturday, prime time Tucson, right? And super excited to have our guest here in studio, Sean Smiley of ERC Junction. We have Mark of Mark's Blue Barbecue or Smoke Barbecue, and we do have another special guest that's going to be joining us here in just a couple segments, and we're going to talk about some of the amazing wines that she has, which everybody that knows me should know who that is. But back over to Mark here. Now we're going to talk about some of your background and other things. And before we do that, Sean, ERC Junction. Now there's been some kind of rocky back and forth. Can you give us an update on what the ERC is doing?
So for those listeners out there who don't know, ERC stands for the Employee Retention Credit. I was hoping I might be able to get you some money, but you weren't in business back during the pandemic.
No.
So this is money it's a reward from Congress and the Senate for business owners who kept their employees paid during 2020 and 2021, the height of the pandemic. And what you're referring to, Wesley, is at the end of January, Congress actually voted to terminate the program early, but that's still got to go through the Senate and then get signed by the president. So there's a lot of posturing going on.
That's
being an election year.
Right. Right. So. We're going to leave that one alone. But
yeah. I agree. Agreed.
But if you haven't done your ERC yet, so you're still processing stuff, and hopefully everything just kind of flows through. And
yeah. So any of the listeners out there who are business owners, if you had W-2 employees during 2020 and 2021, give us a call. My number is 520-576-3524, or you can email me. Sean is SEAN, Sean at ercjunction.com, and we'll do a review. If you already did ERC, there's a very good chance we can actually get you more money, and we follow the letter of the law. And if you haven't done ERC, then we'd certainly love to talk to you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And thank you for joining us here today. I really do appreciate it.
That's great.
My pleasure.
Now, Mark.
Yes.
Time to really pull off the Band-Aid and talk about who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. So I know you said that you started cooking when you were 8. Was it barbecue that you started or that you were smoking and really doing? Well, it's just barbecue. You smoke everything anyways, right?
Right.
Traditional
No,
barbecue.
I didn't start with that. I just started with the basic, like bacon and eggs, and hopefully you don't burn that.
Oh,
and
fair
then
enough.
we go forward from there. But to make a long story short, I was fortunate. I got to meet my great grandmother and my great aunts and so forth. And so my dad was in the military. We traveled a lot, and so I have a softie for all veterans and law enforcement, because I've got family in that as well.
Absolutely.
So we lived in Europe for 5 years, and I think that's where a lot of it came from, because we got to travel everywhere, and I got to try all different kinds of foods from different countries, and it was the most amazing thing. So, all these years later, I put myself through culinary school. I was working 2-3 jobs to get it through, trying to raise a family and do all that stuff, and then you got to get real and get a real job. So you get a real job, and then you go forward. And then I had some tragedy that happened that actually propelled me to do this and to take it serious. And one was, I'm a cancer survivor. It'll be 9 years this December.
Congratulations.
Thank you. went through a horrific car crash at 18,
Ooh.
survived that, and I'm going, you know what, if I can make it through this, God's got something for me, so I'm going to just stick with my passion, and that's what this is. And you know, I decided that's just something that I just want to do, and that brought me to this.
Beautiful. No, that's and I love it. And when you're talking about so you got to cook in a lot of different places, and you were exposed to a lot of different cultures, which is really cool. I mean, what was
Yes.
your, outside of the United States, what was your favorite, I mean, cuisine? Because I mean, this is very United States barbecue. Is there's other places in the world that do barbecue, but nothing like
Right. I
we
love
can find
Mediterranean
here.
food.
Mhm.
I love Italian food. I love you know, Argentine food, Mexican food.
Where in Europe did you live when?
My
when you-
father was stationed in Germany, so we
Okay.
lived there for 5 years. We got to travel everywhere. I mean, it was amazing. Probably 15 different countries, and you know, we were there for 5 years. So every year, you know, during the summer or whenever time you wanted, you could. Dad was allowed 30 days of
Right.
travel,
Mhm.
and we would take it.
Yes.
So it's pretty amazing.
Well, and what I didn't realize until I started traveling to Europe is everything's really so close, right? I mean, it's a short flight from Germany to Spain or
Oh
France.
yes, I
Absolutely.
would just drive, right? I mean,
yeah.
we were looking at we had some family in northern Germany. They're English, but they're there for the shipyards, and we were looking at how far you can travel, and in one day you can pretty much get through all of Europe on a train. I mean, it's nuts.
It's amazing because you can sit in a cafe and hear 5 different languages all around you. Life is great.
So my favorite German dish when I was over there was, I think they call it Schweinhaxen. Is that-
Right.
am I saying that correctly?
I have no idea.
It's
Absolutely.
amazing.
I love Jägerschnitzel. That's one of my favorites.
All
I
right.
like to make that. So just a little more background. I'll tell you.
All right.
There were some places. So I've worked at a spa here in town. It's a top-notch spa. You guys can figure
Okay,
that
yep.
one out. I've worked at a 5-star, 5-diamond in Phoenix, and then I've worked in little mom and pops. I've done off-road races in a trailer for professional motocross bikers. That was a great 3 days. And then I did some stuff down in Sonoyta Fairgrounds, doing some things down there. So it's been great. I've done parties as small as 7 to 8, up to 10,000. Not me personally. It was a big crew. I was part of the
Right.
big crew, but
Fair enough. So when you were developing these flavors that you bring into the barbecue, were you pulling from a family tradition, or was it kind of from everywhere that you've kind of experienced food and flavors and everything?
that's a great question. It's actually both because
Okay.
I'm very close with all of my different family. It's very diverse, so everybody's got an opinion on food, right?
Right. Of
So
course. Everybody.
everybody has a great opinion on food. And then, you know, just places that I've traveled to, and I just want to try and incorporate different things. So when people ask me a style, there's so many great barbecue places across the country, you know, so Carolina style, barbecue style. I don't want to miss anybody, but, you know, there's all kinds of good barbecue out there. And if I tried to emulate that, not being in that state, people are going to go, no, that's not really like home. And I go, I know. So what style is it? It's kind of mine. I've taken a different approach to the sauces. The seasonings are very simple,
Yep.
and it's just low and slow. And the wood, it's the quality of wood. I mean, I've smoked with mesquite before, and that's great for steak. But for me personally, I enjoy a lighter wood like a pecan and hickory and oak. So that's what I use with this. I just
Okay.
I kind of blend them together, and it just gets a sweet taste.
That's what
Now
I
you said something earlier that really piqued my interest. You said some of this takes like 2 to 3 days.
Yes.
Wow. Because I mean, it's kind of fallen on me. I've become the guy in our family that smokes the turkey for Thanksgiving,
So I guess I should.
but it's not a 3-day smoking process.
Well, let me clarify that. So the
It's all the prep. Remember,
Okay.
we talked about that with
Well,
the turkey.
you- and you
remember?
helped me.
And
Yeah.
yeah, we helped you out with the brine.
Right.
So I got him a cranberry brine because it's absolutely just tasty to
That
do a
sounds
turkey
delicious.
in. And you
Oh,
made
yeah.
it for Christmas, Thanksgiving,
I did.
New Year's. You've probably made it a couple
Well,
times this
I
year
was
already.
terrified that it was going to be way too salty, and I envisioned that everybody's going to say it's the best I ever made. And guess what? That's exactly what,
what
they
they said. Good for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Well, I want that cranberry brine, and we'll smoke the turkey for you guys
We'll talk about it.
That works for me. That's great.
No. I'm an open book. The only thing I don't share is family recipes, but that's because I was sworn to secrecy. And then
Understand.
I also kind of combined some of the stuff. So my grandmother was actually from her whole family was from northern Italy,
Okay.
which is very different from southern Italy
right.
or Sicily, where
Yep.
my grandfather was from. So
Yep.
I've blended the two together because I really wanted to hang out, find out. I mean, if somebody asked me what I wanted my grandma's spaghetti sauce.
Absolutely.
Hands down, and she made it different every time, and I'm pretty sure she still forgot to tell me some ingredients. But
They always do because they don't want you to know everything about the secret.
well, you got to
right?
find it, right? And then,
Absolutely.
so I talked to my grandpa, got his recipe, got his down, and then I blended it together. So
Nice.
it's a very unique. It's really good. It has the Sicilian sausage, which is really a lot more developed flavor than just a standard Italian sausage. I don't know if
Nice.
you can tell the difference or not, but it has extra fennel and
I don't have the well-developed palate like you have, so.
I've just eaten a lot of food, so and I resemble that remark as well. So I'm sure that you had a similar experience in kind of bringing some of that together.
I did. I'm a mutt melting pot in terms of what my ethnicity is. So, there's Polish, Spanish, Mexican, Lebanese, and a little Italian in there. So
Fair enough.
I'm a mutt of everything. I try to blend as much as I can. So
And my other grandparents are from Kentucky, so
that's great. I love it.
It was
Some good bourbon there, right?
Yes.
There you go.
So tell me a little more about the location where we can come and enjoy your fabulous barbecue.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's at Medillavina Ranch. It's at the old Pantano Stables. They've done a great job rejuvenating everything there. They do hay rides. They do wine tastings. Big wine place, right? And it's just a fun place. And they do a lot of events and weddings and so forth.
So
And-
you mentioned you have a trailer. So is it
Well, I'm-
outdoor seating or what?
It's
what's it
all
like?
outdoors to start
Okay.
with,
All right.
until I get my little food trailer. So I'm not stealing anything from anybody, but the thought would be, if anyone I'm sure has heard of Nickel Weight Barbecue out of Austin, everything is outside. They've got a huge patio outside, and their smokers are in screen, and
Well, fair enough. We're going to have to hear more about that and
Sure.
try your barbecue after this break.
Yes.
And I'm Wesley Source, host of the Tucson Tasty Show. Super excited to be here at our new special time, 3 to 4 Saturdays. Don't forget to tune in, check out our YouTube channel, Facebook at the YouTube's the the Tasty Show 520, and we'll be right back. Don't forget, stay tasty, Tucson. Welcome back to the Tucson Tasty Show. I'm your host, Wesley Source, here in our new home. Saturdays from 3 to 4, and we're going into one of my favorite blocks, which is Tasty Bites, and it's brought to you by the Tucson Tasty Show. And we have Leslie from Laramina Wine Cellars.
Yeah, Laramida Cellars out of Wilcox.
Yes, thank you, and for coming and joining us today. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And after you try this beautiful barbecue, you're going to have to tell us which ones that you would probably want to pair those with. But I think that's a great discussion for you and Sean to kind of chime in on, if Mark doesn't already have suggestions.
well, you have a wine expert, so I'm sure that I can concur with what she has to say.
I don't know about that expert part, unless you want to just take the XP and put it into experienced, and then yes,
Okay,
definitely.
well, I love the experience part that you would bring. How's that?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
Perfect. And the Tucson Tasty Show would not be possible without our amazing sponsors and friends. Thank you to Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Vero Premium Beef, Dirty Cactus Soap, Novus Vita, and Mafia Kitchen. So tell us about what you brought for us today.
Awesome. I brought some tasty treats, no pun intended.
Outstanding.
But
I appreciate the pun, actually.
Absolutely.
It's a little punny, but it's okay.
I have some brisket that I brought, and then a piece of burnt end, because I think that you guys
yes.
might like that as well. And then I brought, of course, some ribs These are beautiful, beautiful smoked ribs. Very nice.
Is that part of the dino rib?
No.
And this very loud
Dino-
parchment paper, which is perfect.
Oh, I'm so
no,
sorry.
No. That's actually part of the whole experience, and you can see right there. Let's get some of there. There we go. Look at that.
So Wesley, are we live on Facebook right now? Is that right?
We're live on Facebook, YouTube.
So we're live on YouTube as well.
Yes.
Awesome.
And
So sorry for
on
the noise.
10:30 a.m. The Voice.
And then, so
Check it
part
out.
of the other treat that I brought for you all is I have some pork that I didn't pull. I sliced it this
Beautiful.
time.
Now, is this one of the heritage hogs you were
Yes.
speaking of earlier?
Yes,
I
it
know
is.
that, Sean, you had asked about heritage hogs and what made them different from other pigs. And it's kind of like all of the wonderful varieties of heritage apples that almost have gone extinct in the country. And there's been a very strong, drive to bring those varieties back so they don't disappear. And there are wonderful farmers all across the United States who are dedicated to farm to table, who have embraced heritage farming and making sure those breeds
Absolutely.
don't disappear.
Thank you. That's really good comparison with the apples, because I know a lot of the varieties that are out now, they've just tried to, I don't know, corrupt them and make them extra sweet and
Fair.
for marketing, right? So that's great. Thank you for that
All right.
insight.
See, I know something besides grapes, too.
Thank you. It was better said than mine.
So, which one would you recommend we start with? Because I heard burn ends, and
That's what I heard, too.
Well, start with the.
I watched your eyes glaze over. It was really kind of funny.
Start with the Brennan. On the pulled pork, I've got a nice piece of the kind of a burnt end of the pork as well.
You know, I'll
And
I'll
then
start with the pork.
then I have the rib that came off of the shoulder that he sold me, which is different than the St. Louis style rib. So they're just
Let me
kinda-
see that one because I want to see. I want to give. There we go. So this is more of a top. There we go. And coming right across there. Thank you.
Real-time torture.
Yes,
I like
real-time
this, you know.
torture. Check it out.
Then I pickled some onions for you guys today to have a little something to.
I'm
break some of it.
notorious for not liking pork, so I'm really excited because I tried
That's-
some of your.
That's just
rib-
more for me.
That's
You go right
different
ahead
than
and
the
have
one
it.
you had yesterday.
This is.
Yes.
Okay. So
Different part of the pig.
I had some of this, but let's check it out.
My favorite pork quote of all time was when Brian Gumpel was on the Today Show and he said, "I've never met any part of a pig I didn't like."
So that's
That mesquite flavor really does come through.
no mesquite.
No mesquite. Oh, that's right.
That's all right. It's
No,
this-
it's the hickory that I'm picking up on then.
yes.
So the
and
hickory
the pecan.
and pecan.
Yes.
And that's a little bit of the pepper. You're right.
So that's part of the pulled shoulder that came for the pork, and this is the rib that you had yesterday. So try.
Fantastic.
You got to have some sauce. Got to have some sauce. That's made from scratch, and my seasoning is all my own.
After knowing a little bit more about you, I would expect nothing else.
Thank you.
Pour some
So
on there.
that recipe actually
Whoa.
started from my mom and dad, and then as you cook things like you said you do, you like it.
I'm enjoying the
Aroma.
smell, the
I love
aroma,
it.
and really it's sesame. There's it's a sesame base.
There's a little bit of sesame oil in there, yes.
There's no way I would have picked up on sesame. I just know it tastes great.
There's some sliced pork, and that's what happens before you pull it.
I love how fabulous your little smoky halo is on all of this. It's
Thank you.
just the ring is just gorgeous.
Thank you.
That's really good. No, that's really good.
Thank you so
And
much.
I do like that sauce. That sauce really really hits quite a few notes, and it's hard to describe because that's not. I haven't had anything that's like that.
Thank you. So
But it's good.
I've
Just so everybody knows, everybody needs to just go get a cup of this sauce and get a straw.
here's some bread to sop it up with. All right, so we'll share the burn in of the brisket first for y'all.
Producer Tina is taking lots of pictures, so don't forget to check out the Facebook page. That's the Tucson Tasty Show, and Instagram, also the Tucson Tasty Show. And if you're watching right now on on YouTube, and that's the Tasty Show 520, we definitely want to get you to subscribe, because you don't want to miss out on any of this. And we're going to remix some of this and get it out to everybody to taste it. Now, this is what you typically use to do pulled pork, correct?
Correct.
So tell us about that process.
So the process is I season everything and let it sit for 24 hours first. I kind of like to let it mold together. And then I let it cook.
That's like bacon.
And then, no secret, I wrap it about halfway through and let it finish. Everybody has a different ways, and there's certainly a lot of people out there that have got a lot more experience or time than what I do, I guess. But I found that roughly after 5 hours, it can't permeate any more smoke. So you wrap it to hold in the juices and just keep it nice, and then you just let it set overnight, and that's how this came about. So
that's fair. I like it.
So here's the brisket. I'm sorry it got cold while we were visiting.
No worries. So
my hands are clean. I washed them before I started. A little late now, right?
I don't even care.
Mark,
This
it's
is so
okay. I
tasty.
have a horse. We don't even worry about stuff like that.
I used to have horses too, and it doesn't matter.
No, really.
So nothing passed back from Leslie. Thank you. No.
I haven't been to the stables yet today.
No
this
worries.
This is apparently a test that they do when they're judging the brisket, and it holds together. It's got nice pull. Look at this. Look at that pull. Now let's give it a try. Have you gotten to the brisket yet, Sean?
So I think
Really soft and juicy.
thank you. I think good barbecue, like any good food, comes from having the right products.
Absolutely.
And you can tell a lot of different things. You can tell the quality of the product when you taste it, the mouthfeel and all that, and then you can tell if it was made right.
What a great wine segue. I couldn't have written that myself. That was fabulous.
So I'm thinking about some of the wines that would actually pair really well with this, like the brisket. What are your thoughts on something like that?
Well, Laramida Cellars has a number of wines. All of our wines are grown in Wilcox, 100% Arizona grown grapes. And so our terroir goes completely well with everything you have here. But if I had to say right off the top of my head, definitely our Arismo, which really right now is it's tied for my favorite red wine that we currently have. And that is a Cabernet Merlot blend with a little bit of Carmenere and Syrah. It's very much a Bordeaux-inspired blend. But our Sangiovese just won Best Light-Bodied Red in the recent Judgment of Arizona against a whole bunch of wines and a whole bunch of other Arizona wines, and we were
And California wines too,
and
right?
yeah, we were much lauded at Devour and at Off the Vine as well.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome. So I think either one of those would be perfect with any of this.
Now I got to cheat because I had your barbecue and I was Off the Vine on break, and I had some Arismo with it, so I know how beautiful they go.
Well, thanks for sharing. I appreciate that. I didn't get any. I'm just kidding.
You didn't get 5 seconds to get away
I
from
know.
the fire when you were at Off the Vine, Mark.
I'm just teasing you. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Looks like we have a caller. Don has a question for Sean. Go ahead, Don.
Yes, Mr. Smiley, how are you? This is Don Zavis and Wesley. I want to welcome. I've been listening to the show. It was fabulous. Thank you very much. For the employee retention credit, this question goes to Sean, and I just for full transparency, Sean and I are in business together with our business, the RC Junction. But in order, Sean, can you share with the people? I know you started to talk as I've been listening. That the idea of the audit, a lot of people may have thought that they have either maybe got it and maybe didn't get as much, and that audit service seems like it'd be something that might be of interest to the restaurant world listeners.
Yeah, that's a great point, Don. So in our experience so far, every audit, and don't get don't be concerned is the right way to say it about audit. It's a review. So we do a free review to verify that every business, especially restaurants, since it's the Tucson Tasty Show, have received every dollar that they're qualified to get by the law. And so far, every review we've done, we've found additional money that our competition didn't claim for those restaurants.
That's awesome. So how much does it cost?
So the review, there's absolutely no cost for us to check if we can't find you any money. If we do find money for them, then we do have a success fee. We tie our success to their success.
Beautiful.
So the better we do for them, the better we do.
All right. Well, we have to go on a break. Thank you, Don, for calling in, and it's always great to hear from you. And we'll be right back after this break. I'm Wesley Source, host of the Tucson Tasty Show. Special thanks to our sponsors, Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Vero Premium Beef, Veteran Rescue Mission, Dirty Cactus Soap, and Mafia Kitchen. Stay tasty, Tucson. This is Wesley Source, your host of the Tucson Tasty Show, and it's been a long day, and we're rolling into another one of my favorite segments, which is we're going to talk about wine. We're going to talk about the amazing wine in Southern Arizona, and more importantly, with Leslie of Laramina Wine Cellars.
Good afternoon, Tucson, and I'm glad you're staying tasty with us today. So, when Wesley and I were chatting earlier this week, I was at a lovely event at the Sands Club, and once again, thank you for inviting me. It was a wonderful networking experience, made some great connections.
That's the second and fourth Wednesday of every month. Come and check out the Big Business networking group at the Sands Club. It's every Wednesday starting at 9, ends at 10, and come and check it out. I mean, it really is. It really holds a lot of the big players of Tucson.
Well, I got my 30 seconds of fame. And you were the reason I was there. So I got my 30 seconds of fame, and toward the end of that, we were talking about Arizona's AVAs, which are American viticultural areas. And Arizona has 3 of them. New Mexico has 3, but to put that into perspective, California has 149. So we're doing okay.
What's an AVA?
It is an American viticultural area. Those designations are done by the TTB, the Alcohol, Trade, and Tobacco group that's part of the U.S. Treasury Department. And Arizona's first AVA, which is Sonoyta, they petitioned in 1983. It was granted in 1984. And that was Dr. Dutt, and he and a very nice gentleman by the name of A. Blake Brophy are the ones that we can thank right now for having such great foresight and dedication, and recognizing that Arizona's individual soils, particularly in that particular part of Arizona, were worth bringing the wine industry back from many years in mothballs after Prohibition.
So this is one of my favorite facts about Arizona. So if you go back 10 years, how many wineries or was it 10 or 15 years? How many wineries?
I think it was somewhere between 80 and 100, because I can't remember the exact number, but it's well over that now. We're
more than 140 wineries in Arizona.
Yeah, we're pushing 150.
Which is just
amazing.
Incredible.
And just as a side note, there's the 3 AVAs, which were, of course, Sonoyta, Wilcox, and most recently the Verde Valley. But the thing that's impressive about that, Arizona is a wine-producing state in the whole. There's a bunch of mavericks out there. There's wineries up in Kingman and the Chino Valley and Williams and Portal and just all over the place. So, and actually the Arizona Wine Growers Association refers to those people as mavericks and pioneers. So we're just keeping it all Wild West out here.
That's great.
That is exciting. So what is new? And so you guys had an amazing booth and an amazing time. People were seeking you out at Devour. Now, Devour is a big food event that's up in Phoenix, and
Savor on steroids, basically.
Savor on steroids. Savors is actually the stepchild of Devour, from what I understand.
Correct.
And you guys had recognition there.
Well, yes. Little old us. Greg Otterman, our owner and chief winemaker, is a man whose passion went off the rails and became a profession. and I am pleased to say he does a damn fine job of it. His attention to detail and his meticulous insistence on quality and process control, it just really develops fully finished vintages. And that all of Arizona winemaking is in different stages at this point in time. We have our OGs like Kent Callaghan at Callaghan Vineyards in Sonoyta, and many others in Wilcox. I was privileged to be working for one of the better wineries in Arizona at the time Wilcox got its AVA designation in 2016. And, Verde Valley was only 2021, and they actually managed to get their designation approved in the middle of the pandemic.
Wow. Well,
yeah, there's a certain very well-known musician, winemaker, who we need to thank for that.
we all needed a glass of wine during that. As I'm sure you could agree.
So one of the things that you just asked about what an American viticultural area is and what makes ours so interesting is, and Wesley, you're a geek for fun facts. So I'm going to ask you to guess which of the three has the lowest elevation growing grapes. I will tell you they're all between 2,000 and 6,000 feet. That's a very broad range, but...
That'd be Wilcox.
Wrong.
Sonoyta? Verde Valley?
Congratulations.
Okay, it's one of three. Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, Sonoyta is about 4,800, give or take. Wilcox is a little bit lower than that, at probably about, depending on where it is in Wilcox, because you do have those growers that grow up the mountain a little bit, and the Chiricahuas and stuff. But,
right.
I guess that would make sense then. I just spoke before I thought.
Because it goes up from the Verde River Valley. And
right.
And up towards Sedona and everything else. But no.
And elevation has a big impact on what it does with the grapes, and certain grapes work better at different.
Well, actually, that's one of the reasons that Arizona is so successful at growing many of the European grape varietals, is because we grow at elevation. And we have, surprisingly enough, as Greg may have mentioned before, if I'm not mistaken, rain rot and too much heat with the grapes shutting down, kind of like your barbecue, actually. That was what I was thinking. When we had that hot spell last summer, the sugar levels just kind of took a break for a week, and everybody was a little nervous over that hot spell. But it worked out great because the 2023 crush and harvest for all of Arizona was outstanding. So the wines that are going to come out later this year and early next, you haven't seen anything like this yet, and I'm really excited.
I'm excited to have Greg in studio with you next week, and everybody needs to tune in next week.
I don't know if Greg's excited he's going to be in the studio with me next week.
I'm sure, but
I got a quick question. I'm curious, of the 140, 150 wineries in Arizona, how many of them grow their own grapes, or are they bringing stuff in from California, or are they buying it from other Arizona growers? Or tell us a little bit about that.
I will say what I can about that, Sean. I know I can speak for ourselves. Ours are 100% Arizona grapes. We grow all of our own grapes down at Chiricahuas Ranch Vineyards in Wilcox, and we're just nestled in the foothills of the Dos Cabezas Mountains. And as a matter of fact, Greg sells a lot of our extra grapes to other vintners here in Arizona. Kent Callaghan being one of them, and Greg's grapes have won numerous gold medals as Kent's wines. There is more and more pressure on Arizonans to have their own grapes and to use fruit. And that's one of the things that's really important about having an AVA designation on your label. If you put on your wine's label that it was made in one of the three AVAs, 85% of the fruit that's in that wine has to have come from that AVA. So it's not something you can just slap on the label and say, oh, just because my winery or my vineyard is in an AVA, that this wine was an AVA labeled wine. And the beautiful thing about one of the reasons that the American viticultural areas came to be is allowing the consumers to know they're going to have a quality product and actually have truth in advertising and transparency.
Absolutely. And you can taste the difference. I mean, you really can taste the difference in the different grapes. And that's why Arizona wines are such an amazing wine or grape to have in a wine, but also to to really separate us from California wines, and for
even New
the
Mexico.
quality, yes, and the quality that you get from those grapes is underrated, which is great for us because we get better quality wine for a better price point.
I think there's a cool little theme I just noticed today that it's all buy local, right?
Of course.
Mark's doing everything with local meat suppliers,
Mm-hmm.
and we got the Arizona wines. I love it.
Yes, and yes, supporting local is a big deal, and when you can, you've got to. So, I am Wesley Source. Thank you everybody for joining us today at our new time, Saturdays from 3 to 4. We have an amazing show planned for you next week, and it's going to be one of my favorite Mexican restaurants in Tucson. Hopefully, we need to just confirm her, but thank you to all of our amazing sponsors. That's Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Vero Premium Beef, Dirty Cactus Soap, Novus Vita, Mafia Kitchen,